So this is an interesting conversation, because if you were watching our coverage yesterday, words like violence and chaos come to mind, but it wasn't on the part of the protesters. The violence and the chaos seems now to only be coming from federal agents. Yesterday, we were watching government agents on the streets of Minneapolis in the wake of the killing of Alex Preddy. I'm joined now by Alan Orr. He's a longtime immigration attorney and the founder of the Orr Immigration Law Firm. And back with me is Darren Porcher. He's a former NYPD lieutenant. Guys, thanks for being here. Darren, you were helping me work through the videos of the actual killing of Alex Preddy earlier. But I just want to discuss this because you and I got to know each other during a time when people were protesting police brutality. And what police have learned all over the world over the years is when you are trying to engage in crowd control, you need to project order and discipline. The guys with the live ammunition are generally in the back. The people with the less lethal weapons, which we'll talk about another time, but not always less lethal, are in the front. There's often shields. There's slow, organized movement. Not the sort of willy-nilly video game thing that it looked like yesterday was.
You're absolutely right. There's a difference between what the Border Patrol and the ICE agents do in comparison to what local police do. There's a disorder control that local police would employ as it relates to riots or public disorder, as we see in these videos, whereas ICE agents are primarily focused on extraction. They go in, they take a person, and they remove them. And the problem is you don't have the ICE agents that are working in tandem with local police. Local police have many assets within those communities, such as community leaders that they can engage that can amplify a message to a lot of the protesters to help police in terms of, hey, look, stay back. We're going to work this out. They have these back channel negotiations between police and these community leaders. The ICE agents don't have that because they don't have that relationship with the community. This is paramount because you have so many people in these communities that can assist law enforcement in bringing back the level of disorder. But as it relates to the ICE agents not working with the community and having this drive first, or basically we move forward, all gas and no brakes mentality, that's when you see the disorder manifesting to the point that we see on television.
Hey, Alan, I want to play something. Earlier this morning, Greg Bovina was on CNN, and he was asked about these conflicting reports, the fact that we all have eyes and we've seen the video and they don't comport to what the administration is saying. And Bovina was struggling. His argument was collapsing, but he didn't actually fully back away. Now, Kristi Noem has been on Fox and was also challenged on the same things. I want you to listen to this. It sounds like even she is realizing that people have two eyes. Let's listen.
It is early, we know, in this investigation into the shooting death of Alex Preddy. But I want to have you walk our audience through what exactly you know. So you said last night, it looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement. Did he say, I'm going to kill you, or did he leave a note? How do you know that was his intent?
You know, part of this investigation will be hearing from those agents and officers and people on the ground. But we do know that he came to that scene and impeded a law enforcement operation, which is against federal law. It's a felony. When he did that, interacting with those agents, when they tried to get him to disengage, he became aggressive and resisted them throughout that process. These officers used their training, followed their protocols, and were in fear of their lives and the people around them.
So I'd be curious about what training or protocol involves removing a gun that was not being held by the alleged perpetrator and then shooting them subsequent to removing the gun. But let's put that aside for a second. The more important thing here is that yesterday they talked about a guy who was going to inflict maximum damage and intended to massacre police and was brandishing a weapon. All those things seem to have disappeared from her language now.
Yeah, well, I think first we should start with who's high on their own supply, because this executive branch is out of control with regards to immigration enforcement. That's the parameters. We've gone from basically clipboard enforcement to combat gear and war zones with regards to immigration enforcement. So it is a choice to put armed people on the street to carry out this type of enforcement when you're saying to the American people, we would rather infringe on the rights of 99 Americans to get one undocumented immigrant than not infringe on those rights and let that one immigrant go, when in fact there was no issue there in the first place. And all of this is done outside of Congress giving them any other power to enforce in this way. I've been practicing immigration enforcement for 25 years, and I've never seen it act in such a way, in such a war zone. So yes, the training is inadequate. It's 45 days, not the 13 weeks. And the movement is inconsistent. And almost in all cases with immigration in Milan, there's been deregulation, de-enforcement when something's happened to sort of bring it down, de-escalation in many of these cases. So when the officer first pepper sprayed them, why was that not enough to stop and turn the situation around? There was a 6-minute interval when that officer could have made a choice to take something in a different direction than where it is today.
Alan, stand by. Darren, stand by. I want to take a quick break. We're going to continue this conversation when we come back. You're watching Velshi on MS Now.